I have a rock star guest on, the one, the only, the inimitable Chelle. I know. You know who she is. Chelle is an unbelievable. She has one of the best voices on the entire radio internet world. So listen, stay with us and let's welcome Chelle here in just a minute. But what I'd like you to do, if you would, is go ahead and share this out. Share this out to everybody that you know. Let's get a bunch of people on here to hear Chelle's amazing story. And if you haven't heard of Chelle, wait until you hear her voice. It is butter smooth. It's amazing. Chelle's amazing. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Okay, I am having a tech issue this morning with my video, so let's just bring Chelle on. Chelle, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going, Ken? What is it with the tech issues with you? I don't
I
get
don't
it,
get it.
man.
I don't know. I never have them. Just recently, I've been
Never
having a
have them.
little bit of something going on. I don't know what it is, but
Hmm.
hey, I see a lot of amazing people on here already sharing this out.
It's
Thank you.
fantastic.
We've got Winona. Hey, Winona. We've got Judy, Rob. What's going on, Rob? Joe
Oh,
Lanou. Oh my
Bud.
gosh.
Hey,
Jeffrey
Bud.
Lowe's. Oh, the Buckster. The
The
Buckster,
Buckster.
my brother from another mother. Love that dude.
Mhm.
So there's Sergeant Tom. All right, so Chelle,
Yes.
I started this about, I want to say 7 years ago ish. And it was really for kind of selfish reasons. I was like stuck in life, and I'm like, you know what? If I just hear enough other people talk about how they got unstuck in life, then maybe it'll help me. And it
Mm.
worked. So
Okay.
so this is really about your life story and the how you've gotten through the ups and downs, and I'd like you to start with telling everybody where you were born and raised.
I was born in Kailua, Hawaii. My dad was in the Navy, so he's stationed there. So I got that lucky, you know, ground to be born on in Hawaii, and then it wasn't long. I might have been 2, 3 years old. We moved to California, and that's where I was raised. I was raised in the Central Valley, a little community that's adjacent to Fresno. It's called Clovis, California, and stayed there until 1992. Went to Fresno State, and of course, Clovis High School, one of the most famous high schools in the state of California. And it was fantastic being raised in California, but it changed. And,
You,
after the Reagan years, we saw some things that I didn't like.
yeah.
So,
I have one of my dearest friends and a client of mine lives in Clovis.
really,
Swear to God. Yeah. And
wow,
Jose Garza. Super,
small
super
world.
guy. In fact, Jose might be watching. I don't know. But if you are Jose, say hello. Here's a fellow Clovis sister. So, yeah, I've heard lots of amazing things or not so amazing from Jose about that area has kind of, there's some crazy stuff happening in the Fresno area. Actually, I see it on cops once in a
Oh,
while.
don't go there. Don't.
But I do. But no, I mean it. But also, I know California has gotten a little bit crazy, but it's still, I think, the most beautiful state we have. It's just sad
Oh,
that it's
gorgeous.
being destroyed.
Yeah, it is. It's a shame. I left there in 91 and moved to Arkansas, and then I spent 18 years in Arkansas. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Wow.
I started in the restaurant business when I was 15 and a half years old in Clovis. I got my work permit and started at Foster's Freeze. Loved it right there on Clovis Avenue, close to my home. I could walk there, and I worked there until after I graduated, and then I pulled the trigger when I was 18 and got married. So,
At
and
18.
I had 18. I was 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Um, and I had two beautiful children, and unfortunately had to move on from that. Things happened. We were too young. We were just too young.
Yeah.
And then, when I was in Arkansas, though, I continued in the restaurant business, and I loved it. I spent 13 years working at a place called Waffle Inn, and it was the only 24-hour place in town. In fact, in the county. So I got to meet
What did you say?
everyone.
Waffle? Waffle in?
Waffle Inn, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, where I famously coined the phrase, which is one of my favorite words to use. I won't say it on your show, but I believe that was in '92. I was a little heated and called something related to a waffle, and then I swear to goodness, I should have trademarked it because it's everywhere now. But I had a fantastic 13 years there. In 13 years in a 24-hour restaurant, you get to know everyone, right? It was a small town, 10,000 people, they're in Drew County, Arkansas. And I got to see and meet so many people, and they're the ones that are still living, because that was quite some time ago,
Yeah.
are still like family to me. And I love to go visit. In fact, my daughter, Chelsea, was born and raised there and moved back. She loved it so much. She didn't like being away from all her besties and that country lifestyle. She really loves it. She thrives on it. And yeah, so I get to go back there and visit all the time so I could see her and my grands and, all kinds of good stuff. But then
Yeah.
after that, I moved to Missouri, the St. Louis area. I was recruited as a corporate manager for Bob Evans. Loved it. Did that for several years, but got burnt after 26 years in the restaurant business. I was just like done.
Yeah.
I wanted something different. It was customer service changed. It changed.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
became very privileged, and being a corporate manager, working 7 stores and just dealing with all of the, you know, issues and problems, and I was done. So I decided that I would go to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, go to Kirkwood College, and take a 2-week expedited course and get my CDL, my commercial driver's license. So I started
Wow.
the truck.
It's semi truck.
Fantastic. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I loved it. Yeah, I got paid to see the country. My office was a windshield.
So
I loved it. It was fantastic. I miss it. I did it for 9 years. I miss it.
w-
It was a tremendous ride. It really was. Met a lot of great people all over the country. I could pretty much drive anything you want me to drive. Even when I was a kid, growing up, I was either in the Mojave Desert, screaming across it on a motorcycle, or I was, in a dune buggy, you know,
wow.
doing all kinds of stuff, climbing hills and microwave towers and, speeding by Edwards Air Force Base down there in the, Southern California. Just, you never knew what I was going to be into because my parents, my dad was the biggest kid you ever met in your life. And he told me I can do anything. What is Buck saying? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did race. I was a professional powder puff, and Suzuki and Seven Up were my sponsors. I did some 8-day classics, desert racing, things like
Wow.
that when I was a kid. I started when I was 7 years old on a motorcycle, so I did a lot of that too. I miss California, I really do, but I'm not going back until the government changes. Till
Yeah.
we get a government that's accountable to the state of California.
Well, I mean, one thing I heard Newsom, the governor, which is, I don't know if this is good or bad, but I heard that he was the number one like salesman for U-Haul last year.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that. You know what? He's the number one salesman for new homes in Texas and Florida and everything else. Because
I
that's where
live
they're
in
migrating
Texas.
to.
You live in Florida, and I
Hmm.
think that people need to understand something. If you're going to move here from California because of the bullshit going on in California, leave
Yeah.
your voting habits there. Do not bring them here because don't do it. You just like people don't understand that. We'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's signs in Texas that say leave your politics in California, don't bring them here.
Oh yeah.
um I think that so you've done a lot of stuff. What was it like for you growing up in and were you like were your parents there,
Oh yeah.
as a kid, so both your
Oh yeah.
parents were there?
Oh yeah. My dad. Um, he adopted me when I was 5 years old. Things didn't work out between my natural born father and
Yeah.
Um, you know, uh, I was 5 years old, she married his name's Jack, it was John, but everybody
Yeah.
called him Jack,
Yeah.
and, he adopted my sister and I, we took his last name. So my mom and him were together until he passed away. We lived in the same home for 50 years. We that's where we went home for Christmas, that's where everything, was centered, was my parents. And, he didn't have to be my dad. But he wanted to be, and you could never tell him that my sister and I weren't his children. He'd throat punch you
Wow.
over stuff like that, so but but he would absolutely make sure that we knew, we could do anything. My sister, she was the first Hispanic woman from the state of California to be appointed to West Point in 1981. So she went
Wow.
to West Point. I was a cheerleader. I was too busy having a lot of fun. So I wanted to, go have the white picket fence and do all that. So I heard those phone calls in the middle of the night. There weren't a lot of women in the academies at that time. So, I heard the
Wow.
hazing and the crying and the, mom, I want to come home. And I was just like, yeah, I ain't doing that. I went to Fresno State, and I studied English, and I majored in English and I minored in journalism, and never did put it to use because I fell in love with the restaurant business. So, it was just what it was. But then when
So
I,
so hold on. So I want to ask. So, and we're going to bounce around a little bit, but on your timeline. But you worked. So basically, it was was it like a Waffle House kind of place?
Arkansas, yes, there were
Okay.
only two. There were three of those waffle inns. One in
Okay.
Camden, Arkansas, one where I lived in Monticello, Arkansas, and one in Broken Bow, Oklahoma. That's it. So
Wow.
yeah, and then none of them exist anymore. They were all closed down. It was unfortunate, but yes, 13 years in that building.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Wow. I would think.
I got in a lot of trouble in that building. Ken. I did.
I'm
A
not.
lot of people didn't like me because I was from California. I didn't have that country twang. I had that, uh, kind of California attitude. Unfortunately, they
Yeah.
they were all very country, and there was a lot of women that would come in and they would just be like, I'm gonna whoop your tail, and I didn't talk about it. We commenced. That wasn't a conversation we were gonna have. We were just gonna get to it. So I had a lot of peace bonds on me and restraining orders, and
Oh my god.
yeah, I had I mean, we had blue lights in our parking lot a lot because I was challenged so much for a while, and then it
Wow.
finally, kind of calmed down, and everybody got to know me, and it was a wild ride there because even law enforcement would send their rookies into that building overnight. On Friday and Saturday nights when the clubs would come in, just to give them training. So it was tough. It was rough.
Wow.
But I
And you
met people
fell
that
in
loved
love with that?
Huh?
You fell in love with that?
I did. I did.
Wow.
I thrived on it, I'm not gonna lie. I was
The adrenaline. The
yeah,
adrenaline. It has
I guess, but, I loved being on that grill line where you could turn around and everyone's right there and have conversations. And, was there some trouble? You bet, but was there some great times? Those much outweighed the trouble, be honest with you. Just the fantastic community there, and the people. And that's where I learned how to kind of, have those free flowing conversations, you know, and
Wow.
it kind of kicked me off after I bought my own restaurant when it closed down, and I loved having it. I had it for several years. It was called the Captain's Table, and I had these big round, tables that would seat, um, you know, 4, 6, 8, 10 people, and of course, I stayed open, early in the morning until about lunchtime, and every Friday night I had a steak night, and absolutely loved it because I could continue to see the people that I missed so much after the Waffle Inn got shut down. So
Wow.
it was a fantastic ride there too. But after that, it was in 2008, Barack Obama was elected, and everything changed financially for everyone. And things started to slow down, and I had a decision to make. It was either I was going to borrow a lot of money to stay afloat, keep going,
Yeah.
or I was going to shut it down. And I shut it down. I didn't want to borrow a lot of money. I didn't know what 4 years was going to be like, and if I could ever pay that back, because things really got tight. So
Sure.
that's when I moved to Missouri, and became a corporate manager for Bob Evans. Yeah.
So what's interesting is Bob Evans is headquartered in Ohio,
hmm
but they
I
had
spent
corporate
14 weeks
office
there. 14 weeks there at the corporate office training.
in
Yes.
Athens, or not. Is it Athens? No, it's is it Athens?
It's Columbus,
No.
Ohio.
Oh, their headquarters in Columbus,
Yes.
but they started down in Southern Ohio.
They did. They
Yeah.
did. Where I trained and where their corporate office was Columbus, Ohio.
So, how long did you say with Bob Evans?
4 years. 4 years.
Wow. Hey,
Yeah.
Queenie said thanks for the heads up. I sent you. Would you please tell Steve and Sass to, like,
You better tighten up.
hook
You better
hook a
tighten up.
brother up here.
You getting that
I
message?
sent them. I sent them.
Mm.
So I love
I
Bob
have a little bit of a
Evans.
cold. I'm so sorry.
I was gonna ask. No, I
Yeah, I
wasn't. I
do.
can't. I can't
I do.
tell. I
I have.
wasn't gonna ask.
Sorry.
So I
Yes,
love Bob Evans. There needs to be more locations, though, all over the world.
they've
Because
closed some lately. I
are
noticed.
they? That
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me.
Well, I mean, everything has its time,
Yeah,
and that goes with a lot of these big franchised places, and it's just
yeah,
it
yeah.
happens. Hi, Drax.
Hey, Drax. Drax is the man. Um. All right. So let's go back to um California. You graduate high school out there. Where'd you go to college?
Fresno State.
Fresno State.
hmm
And did you graduate college? Did
Yes.
I miss that? Okay. Okay.
Yes.
And then where did you go after? Because I didn't go to college. I didn't even graduate high school. There wasn't a big hurrah. I didn't like it. Wasn't like I got the certificate. I can go be somebody now. I walked out in 12th
I didn't
grade.
do
So,
that.
huh?
I didn't do that either.
But I think about like when you're entering the real world, we'll call it the working whatever. Where did things go? Did you stay in California for a little bit,
No,
or did you get out of there immediately?
I got out of there in 91. Yeah, I
Okay.
graduated high school in 85, and
Okay.
after school and everything, I did, of course, stayed in the restaurant business there, but then I moved on to Arkansas. I just it wasn't some place that I wanted to be at first, but it was such a much better economy, cheaper. Oh, so much cheaper to live,
Yeah.
and by this time I've got my children, and I had to make decisions. So yeah,
Yeah.
Arkansas it was I left. So
And you were there, you said 18 years, I think.
18
18.
years, yes.
So my wife has family in the Little Rock area, and we ended up going to a wedding west of Little Rock, out in the middle of nowhere. Gorgeous, gorgeous little venue that was literally in the middle of nowhere. But I'll never forget how hot it was and humid. I mean, it was so humid. And so we're at this wedding. Her
Did you
cousin,
die, Ken? No, you didn't.
I thought I'm gonna have to call 911, but then I was in an area so remote that I couldn't dial 911 because there was no signal. I was just screwed. But like, no, I remember I was wearing a sport coat, and and I'm just sweating, and my wife's cousin walks up and he goes, "You look hot," and I go, "I'm really hot," and he goes, "Why are you wearing a jacket?" I go, "It's a wedding." He goes, "You're not in the party. Take your freaking jacket off." And this is the father of the bride.
There you go.
He goes, "Take the jacket off. Are you an idiot?" I'm like,
Well,
oh, I mean,
yeah, it wasn't a
it's,
smart move there, Ken.
I
Yeah,
know, it's
Arkansas is
so
brutal.
hot. Oh
Yeah,
my
it's
God.
brutal. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's
isn't it
crazy.
beautiful?
It's
It's
gorgeous.
stunningly gorgeous.
Uh,
They don't call it the natural state for anything. It's still one of my favorite places to go back to. The Hot Springs area is absolutely stunning.
really.
There's so many unique places in Arkansas. They got the diamond mine. You just pay a fee to get in there, and whatever you find is yours. It doesn't matter if it's a 10 carat diamond; it's yours. You paid the fee, you walk out of there with it, right? Um,
Wow.
yeah, it's there. There's so many really neat places in there, and it's just a fantastic place to be for me. I love to go visit. Would I move back there? I've thought about it. I really did, but I don't know. I can't say
Read
enough about it.
Sergeant Tom. Sergeant Tom says, "How did you pick Arkansas versus anywhere else? It's my home state, but I can't see it being someone's first choice."
Well, I'll tell you what. It was a man, all
Uh,
right, and the rest is none of your business. There you go.
Shell, Shell. By the way, everybody watching, Shell is one of the very best, if not the best, one of the very best um, hosts on X Spaces for sure, and everything else that you've done.
Oh,
Um,
I wouldn't
but
go that far,
but
David.
but well, I'll go that far. It's my show. I'll go that far if I want to.
Oh,
And
really?
you. So, but here's the thing: like, people are afraid of you.
As they should be, Ken. The well, I'll tell you what, the difference between the space that I might do and other people's, is I actually work for some networks like Worldview 2.
Yep.
And I do the Rob Maness Show live. It is a live television broadcast. I
Yep.
have to be heavy-handed in there with those mics because if they're not scared of me, they're going to open up their mics and bleed into that broadcast, interrupt the colonel and his guests on live television. I can't let that happen. So I've
No.
had to develop this, kind of don't mess with me personality, or I'll smoke you off one of those mics and you'll never get a mic again in my space. Because that's why he pays me the big bucks. And he'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Colonel Manus will tell you that. But you can't have a successful show if you merge into a space and simulcast that
Right.
without somebody who's running it high and tight. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it would not work. And bringing that into the X platform is an education to me that is priceless. Okay, it's priceless. And Rob Manus, a lot of your
Yep.
audience may not, but they should. They should.
Yes.
He's a fantastic wealth of knowledge and a very good man who served his country well for 33 and a half years in the Air Force.
Amen.
And you cannot beat that kind of education. You really can't. I'm proud to do it every day. I really am. I
Yeah.
can't I can't say enough about it. But I had to have a style, right? I work for Grunt Style. I do their Wednesday night
Yeah.
stuff, and then I've done work for Brandon House at eight day series for him with the Washington Report. And that's live broadcast too. That's television. You
Yeah.
you can't so Do I have that personality in my own space when I run my own show, Shell Shocked? A little, not as harsh,
No,
but it's
you
still
do. You do.
no. Uh, am I am I really that bad? Come on,
You're not.
am I really that
Listen.
bad?
Hold on. Listen. I want like. At first, I
I
got to
really.
point out Queenie wants a girls' road trip. She wants to go to Hot Springs with you. So,
Oh
um,
yes, mud baths. Oh yes, we can do it all.
oh my god. But like I respect that about you. I'm the same way. If I host a space, I don't like people being out of control morons. And
True.
there are people who will come up on stage, take a mic and be complete asses. And you
Yes.
know, I think that it's your years of working at the she wants to go diamond hunting.
Oh,
That
it's
is
on now, right?
that is
It's
so
it's on.
perfect.
It's on now. Diamonds. It is.
I
Yes,
so I you
I would
know
love it.
I think that what you do is phenomenal and you're the best at it. I've never seen anyone
Oh, thank
better
you.
at it than you. And I'm not trying to blow hot air up your skirt. I'm just saying
I
that you are really, really, really good at controlling a room. It's amazing.
I appreciate that, Ken. I really do. Now there are times where I am a little harder in my own show. I have big guests. You know,
Yeah.
um, uh, I've brought General Flynn on 4 times. We helped premiere his movie, Deliver the Truth, whatever the cost. He trusts it because we run a tight show. We don't let anybody get attacked that's a guest. If they do, they're going to feel a sting from me, of course, because I won't allow that to happen. Not only General Flynn, but we've had 6 members of Congress, including the current Speaker of the House, on our mics, all up on stage together at one time, broke a Twitter record.
Wow.
It was Twitter at that time. I don't believe Elon had. No, I don't know. Maybe it was X, but um, nevertheless, when you have the likes of congressmen and women on your stage, or
Yeah.
Tommy Robinson, or like General Flynn, Tony Schaefer, Jeff Clark, all of them coming in to do your show
Yep.
like that, you run it right, because you
Yeah.
you have to hear what's happening. You have to hear the real story from the horse's mouth. You want to know how the sausage is made in Congress. Pay attention, people. Don't interrupt them. Don't get don't make my eye twitch, because it's gonna be bad for you. I don't know how else to say it.
That's that she'll one of the things and Queenie said you're the first person on X to give her a mic. I think that's amazing. I
Are you
actually did
serious? I
not
didn't even know that.
I didn't know that either. That's amazing. You and
Wow.
I think that because okay, let's go back to the Arkansas thing. At what point, because I know you worked on Sirius XM radio, you've done a
Yeah.
lot of unbelievable things. Talk about some of those ventures that you got into and what led to
Ooh,
that.
let me tell you, that's a fantastic story. So I was on Getter, okay? Because we all got smashed over here on Twitter. Remember, we all got taken down the day Trump got taken down, or some either before or shortly
Yep.
after that. We all just got, hi, Steve. We all just got or just smashed, right?
Yep.
And it was wild because we actually had a freedom platform we could go to and kind of reconnect with everybody, and that was Getter. When Getter launched, it was fantastic. Jason Miller and his team did a fantastic job with that platform, and there I was. So I don't know why, but they kind of started noticing me, and just like it. I don't know. I fell in a bucket of crap and came out smelling like a rose. Okay. They just all kind of connected with me, and I connected with Tim Young, and oh my gosh, that was fantastic. We would go live at night. It took me, I bet, a year or two to even get on a camera with him. But I would just yeah, I
Wow.
was shy. I don't like, this just as well as him. I might as well just say it out loud. I don't like my looks. I just don't. My voice
That's
is my
terrible.
bread and butter, as you know. But when I started connecting with Jason Miller and Tim Young and Kaylin Dorr and all them who are back in the West Wing, by the way. with this new Trump administration.
Yeah.
Um, it was a fantastic experience for me. And they flew me to New York City for a big Getter anniversary party, and I got to meet anyone and everyone. It was just mind blowing to me, and I loved
Wow.
it. I really did. And started doing some SiriusXM radio with Tim. He invited me on, with when he'd cover for the David Webb Show or Stacy on the Right. We started doing, these little radio hits and interviews, and it was a fantastic experience. He's my mentor. He taught me, everything I know about interviewing someone. Short leads, all kinds of different, kind of twisty questions to kind of get some information from him. He just
Yep.
is the best of the best.
Yeah.
And I suggest if you're not paying attention to Tim Young, you need to be too, because he's like he's up there. He's talking to
Yeah.
Congress all the time. He's
Wow.
always talking to Nicole Shanahan, everybody. They just said, "Hey, can you go on with me?" They're like, "Yes," because they're
Yeah.
not going to miss that one, right? He's very good. I was more privileged than most because Tim always says I listened. I would listen to
Yeah.
him and I do what he, said. And then he just brought me along, and here I am today. I had a lot of great experiences.
But
Being where I am.
and Steve is on here. He said earlier that he first met you on Getter.
Yes.
Steve loves ammo. Everybody should be following Steve. And if you're not following Shell, then you are definitely a communist. And sorry, but everybody should
That's
be
all right.
following you. Um, so
My gunny is trying to beat my door down. If you keep seeing me look over there, it's because he's wants to eliminate me today. I don't know
who?
why. My little puppy Gunny is trying to come through the door. I put him out so I could do this, and he's just having a. If you
I
keep
can't.
seeing me glance over there, I'm making sure he's not going to come in here and jump all over this laptop here. So anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I can't hear
He's
him,
so
so
cute.
that's good. But so along the way, um, through all of this, because this is called breakthrough walls. It's not called nonstop success walls. It's breakthrough walls. And I think that it's important that everybody listening, on the podcast networks later, or watching us right now or on the replay, I think it's important that people understand that it's not all been rainbows and unicorns. And by the way, you're gorgeous, so you need to stop with that. But
Thank
the
you.
the
Appreciate-
uh, as far as the ups and downs, like what are some of the along the way? I mean, go back to when you graduated college and went to at 18 years old. You're married. You go to Arkansas, or you go to Arkansas and then get married. I'm not sure which came first, but um, talk about some of the challenges you've had along the way because I know you've had some.
Oh, plenty, plenty. A lot of the challenges that I had to do with me holding myself back. That I was my own challenge, honestly. Financially, all kinds of different things, making some of the wrong choices, uh, just flailing at times, trying to get my feet back on the ground, after every time I felt like I got my teeth kicked in.
Yeah, yeah,
I had a lot of challenges with the people in the community that I was in because, again, um, I would take the lead on the grill. I took jobs from people, and they were very angry with me. And it was challenging being in that community with a few of them because
yeah.
they didn't like the fact that when I do something, I try to do it 100%. My dad told me if I do something half,
Asked.
yes, don't do it all. Don't do it at all.
Right, right.
So I wouldn't. And when I got into it and I wanted that day spot on the grill line, I wanted to do the schedule so I could get the right people in on the right shifts, and Carol let me do it, who was my boss, and get that, crowd in. Challenged me on a Saturday or Sunday morning or a holiday morning. I wanted to, beat my record all
Yeah,
the time. I'd want to beat my own record all the time. So,
Yep.
I was putting out, $2.99 plates, which were full breakfast at that time because, I'm just telling my age there a little bit, but I
Right.
do I do a 15 to $1,800 breakfast in the morning by myself. One
Wow.
waitress, one dishwasher, right? And
Wow.
we were challenging ourselves all the time, and I that's what I do, and that's how I got through everything.
Yeah.
If I had an issue with, you know, a spouse or whatever, and I just focused on the other stuff, and starting over, I've done that 4 good times, and it's not easy.
It's not.
It's
I've
not
done
easy,
it
but
too.
I wouldn't give up because I had things in mind that I wanted to do, and I still want to go do those things. This isn't all of it, you know. I'm
No, I
not done
know.
yet.
I
I'm not.
know.
I'm not even close to done yet.
You're
So yeah,
just getting started.
I am
And I know
just getting
some
started.
plans. We won't talk about them, but I know some things you got coming that I think is going to rock this entire freaking world,
Really,
Shell.
I hope so.
I think it
I do.
will.
So I want. Um, I got that shout out on Tucker Carlson, right? Tucker
It's
Carlson.
unreal.
That shocked me, right?
It's
Um,
unbelievable.
I realized that the platform that was provided to even get to that shout out, where Tucker knew where some of those events took place was on my show.
Yep.
Um, I that gave me more inspiration and just kind of stoked that fire, you know. So you're
Yeah.
right. I don't know what you got planned for me, but I got a lot planned. I might just shock you, Ken. And the origin of my name, the show Shell Shocked was from SiriusXM Radio. Because they kept saying you need your own show. Shell, you need your own show. What are you going to call it? And I was just like, well, I don't know. And we were kind of brainstorming, and because it's spelled differently, um, they
I
loved
love
it.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they were just like, "That's it. That's it. Trademark it. You're done." And I was like, "Okay." So I
That's
did.
so freaking cool.
Yes.
And I don't think that people, I don't think people realize like life is about the tiny little incremental steps, right? And you might get hit, you might get punched. I mean, like Glenn was telling me, he said I had the opportunity to share one of my favorite quotes with this guy the other night. He goes, I the quote is, I looked at him, I said, look, life's not about um, how you fall down, it's about how many times you get back up. And he goes, the guy looked at me and said, that's not how DUI field sobriety tests work,
No.
sir.
That's funny. I like
but,
that. Yeah.
but no,
And I
I
really like Glenn, and thank you for that. I would have
yeah,
never got to experience him, these last couple times without
yeah,
you. Ken. And thank you for that
well,
opportunity. It,
yeah,
it's
well,
going to be a great ride.
it's going to be amazing. So go back to, and I don't know how far you want to go into it. Um, I don't. I won't. If you're not going to bring it up, I won't bring it up.
Bring it
Um,
up. Let's talk about it.
just
Let's
you
throw
you
caution
told
to
me
the
that
wind.
you've lost a spouse.
Yes.
Um, I think a lot of people go through that and don't recover.
I've not only buried a husband, my father, my mother, but also my best friend since I was 5 years old.
Oh my God.
Yes, many challenges.
Yeah.
Many challenges. Sadness, tragic losses.
How do you go through that and recover? How do
God,
you say it again for people who
God,
didn't hear it? Yeah.
our Father in heaven. That's how I
Amen.
do that. There's no other way to get through it. Of course, my children, the rest of my family, my sister, my friends, of course, all of that.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think I would have recovered. I just lost my mom a year ago.
Oh,
I took care of her for 4 years.
wow.
Uh, I was her sole caretaker. My sister, of course, she's a level 1 trauma unit doctor, and she's a very busy lady. with
Yeah.
what she does. She's
Yeah.
3 years older than I am, but I was the baby. I have a brother who I also lost through all of this because losing my mom, he had expectations of myself and my sister, and we wouldn't tolerate it. Okay,
Mm,
and my mother knew her son, and there was issues there, during the decline of my mother's health and what he wanted, and what my mother wanted, and it didn't, they didn't match. And so
right.
there was a tremendous problem within my family. And yeah, I had to get all through that and then bury her. And it wasn't, none of it's pleasant. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
if you don't have the intestinal fortitude, uh, to realize, that God's got all that power, and there's so much power in the name of Jesus, for that
Amen.
healing and that motivation, and you just want to lay down and suck your thumb, and say, "Oh, woe is me! Look what's happened to me."
Mm-mm.
You're not going to get through it well.
I mean, I like to tell people like, hey, it's okay to stop for a minute and let it out. Feel sorry for yourself for 5 minutes. Let it all out.
Oh,
10
yeah, cry,
minutes. Cry
cry.
if you're going to. Do what you
Yeah,
got to do. Get it out, and then pull your freaking britches up and kick your own ass and
that's
get
right.
get it in
Get to
gear.
stepping.
Yeah,
It's
that's it.
always forward motion. If they
Yep.
kick you back, if they kick you back 3 steps, you run back at them, with 4.
Amen.
You never give up. If I had given up, years ago, you wouldn't see me here today.
Right.
You wouldn't have that strength that, or I wouldn't have that strength that I have, controlling the space like you said. I mean, but I'm not
Yeah.
mean. I make myself clear.
No. Right.
You have to make yourself clear. These are the rules. This is the way it goes. And if you can't do it,
Yeah.
um, I'll be happy to eject you from the space. I don't care. I've got
I'm
other voices. Every voice is important. I've got other people to bring
yeah.
up. I've got other people that I want to learn from and listen to.
Mm.
Just move out of my way. Because if you're in my way, you're in a very bad place.
I love that. I listen, so Shell, you and I kind of we started off a little bit rough. I'm not gonna lie.
You
I
did.
came into a space and you said, if I hear one more person talk about drones, I swear to God, I'm gonna boot them.
Uh,
I'm
that
never
was epic, though. That was epic. It really was.
it was so funny. And then I just I'm like, let me poke just a little poke, and you you're the reason I know that the
You,
middle finger
you,
emoji exists.
yes. I was glad and happy to introduce that emoji to you. It
It
was
was
my pleasure.
but no, it was I've respected the heck out of you since I started doing a lot of X spaces, participating,
Aw.
listening. I even hosted some because I thought, I hear some space hosts that just let people have a free for all, and I hate those spaces because it's like it's just out of control. And then I heard you,
Why
and
though?
I'm like, oh
Why
my
why
god,
why do you hate them and it's so out of control?
because
Wh-
nobody's taking charge of the
Right. And
space.
what happens then?
It gets out. It's
But you
chaos.
lose the entire value of the conversation.
Amen. It's
You
true.
lose it. There's value in these conversations, and when you let it go like that and it gets
Yep,
sideways, nobody gets anything out of it. So it's a waste of time.
that's right. There's my buddy Darlene. She's in
Hi.
Florida too. Darlene's in Florida. She's over on Facebook watching us. And look, lead, follow, or GTF out of the way.
That
I
is correct.
I totally agree with that. Buck wants to talk about drones.
Buck wants to be in pain. Um, So, let's
Oh
disregard
my
that
god.
comment and move on. How's that?
So
Okay.
how I don't know how long ago did you said you've buried a husband.
Yes.
Um how long ago was that?
2010?
Was it 2010?
I think
Wow.
it was 2010. It's been a while. About
Wow.
15 years ago. 15, 16 years ago, yeah.
Wow.
I try not to think about it, Ken.
Oh, okay. I'm
I
sorry.
mean, he was a fantastic guy. He was chief of police, in Risen, Arkansas for 20 years.
Wow.
He introduced me to Mike Huckabee because he'd do security, when Huckabee would go through the state. And we were married for 15 years.
Yeah.
Uh, the- when Huckabee would come through, he would do, the parades and the local events and
Yeah.
politic and run for office and everything. And so, yeah, and I got to meet, the current governor, Sarah Huckabee Sanders,
Yeah.
on a few occasions too. But yeah, it was a while ago.
Okay. I was just wondering. So we don't have to talk about it. We can move on from that. But I was just curious about how long it's been. Um, one of the things that you and I discovered that we have in common is, and I think yours might be a little more in depth than mine, but we both have a lot of big contacts, like a lot.
Yeah,
And you and
feeling.
I've had that we've had that conversation before.
Yeah.
Where did you start? Because I'm all about that. I like to teach people and help people learn how to make bigger connections in life and in business. Where did you start? How you're known as a connector, right? So where did that all start for you? Where did you start seeing, wow, I can actually
On
connect people?
on Getter,
Oh, okay.
Steve Bannon, followed me, and we started doing some lives, and we one particular one with Grace Chong and my kiddo, my one of my favorites from Juicebox Brothers, RP. Uh, Steve popped in one night, and we got to talking, and I asked him one question. What he thought about MTG's national divorce idea, and he went ballistic, and it went viral, and it made the news. I made Newsweek for the first time. Mediaite, Fox and Friends gave us a little short clip, on Fox, and then I got an honorable mention from Laura Ingraham that night for that conversation. And other things too. I mean, it went nuts, and it was fantastic. And then at the party, of course, you go to a party with Jason Miller, you get to know people, right? But I don't think it's necessarily, comes in one little lump sum. You build that. You have
Yep.
to connect with people and build trust. Trust is the utmost importance. They have to trust you. You don't get those phone numbers, you don't get those interviews, you don't get anything, from these people if they can't trust you.
Amen.
And I would die if I ever lost the trust of any one of them. I really would. You have to have a lot of integrity,
Yeah.
and you have to have good moral conscience
Yeah.
to be able to build what you and I have built when it comes to our contacts. Because
Yeah.
if you blow even one of them, that word of mouth will kill you. It will
Instantly,
destroy you. Yes,
overnight. I've seen it happen.
immediately. Yes,
You've seen it happen. I
yes, I
mean,
have.
and I think that I couldn't have put that better. No way. That was perfect. People I have people that know that I'm friends with Grant Cardone, for example, or Glenn, or and they'll say, "Hey, can I get his number? I'd like to talk to him about an opportunity." Or I'm like, "Are you high? Are you smoking crack or something?" Like, no. Like, and I know
I
people do that to
I
you.
had those conversations. Yeah,
You're like, what do
I
you
ask them if
think?
they. I ask them all the time. Have you bumped your head? I mean, because
Right.
you're delusional. You have a concussion. seek medical help immediately. Yeah, not happening.
I don't like I people don't understand that Glenn actually refers to it as relationship capital.
Yeah.
And I know that you do this too. You don't start off any relationship with, what can I get out of it? You don't That's
Oh,
not who
no.
you are. You're
No.
how can I add value to your life? And you look
No.
for ways to do that.
Right. Right. If they need something, they'll if somebody needs something, I'll get an email, I'll get a phone call, and connecting people is what that's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
It really is. The shows and the stage and all of that other stuff is all, um, good and well. But I love it when I get a call and it's a big hitter and they're like, "Hey, Shell, I really would like somebody on my show. I'd like to connect with them." And then that's what I do. I get it done.
Yeah.
Or you have like Sean Hendricks who calls you and said, "Hey, I need press for this for Western North Carolina," which we all needed to know the truth about, right? We
Yep.
needed to know what was happening with FEMA. We needed to know about, all of the things, that the damage, the loss of life, the people that are in there, during search and rescue, medical care,
Yeah.
the places that were set up temporarily for shelters, everything about the children. There was a lot of tragedy up there, and people were kind of, forgetting it and moving on with the news cycle. And when somebody like Sean Hendricks calls you, and says, "Hey, I want." To keep this up front, we can't forget about, Western North Carolina. I'm on it, right?
Yeah.
Six bookies in about an hour, and I had him rolling, keeping it front
Wow.
and center. That's important.
Yep.
That's
It is.
important, and I really like that. But doing things like that, is really my favorite thing. I like it very much.
Buck is asking a question on screen
What?
there, and he said he corrected himself in the next comment. He Gunther and Hunter Eagleman. How long have you known those guys?
I've met Gunther. I've not met Hunter. Gunther and Bruce Bain. Um, my bestie and I, Mary Jane, went and picked him up in Fort Lauderdale at the airport, and we sang "Smack That" all the way back to Hollandale Beach, and had a very lovely evening. We ordered some pizza and had a great time, and
Yeah.
did the pictures, and then they were there for the Trump rally,
Mm-hmm.
and I was going to WakaCon. I didn't go to the rally, but I was with Brandon Strock at WakaCon that weekend. But it was great getting together and meeting them, and they're fantastic guys. And I tease a lot about Gunther sometimes, but I was in a space with him the other day with Speaker Mike Johnson, and they spoke very highly and in Nick's order, of the space that we had previously done that had the
Yeah.
congressman and stuff, and they're very involved. He had some great questions for Speaker Johnson, and I like them tremendously. But I don't know Hunter. I've not met Hunter, and I'm
Hunter's
not like
funnier than Hunter's hilarious.
he's a wild card. I love that.
Oh my god.
You never know what he's
Those
gonna say, and I like that.
and both when they go at each other, it's the funniest shit. I swear, it is so funny.
It is, like Hunter's always complaining about, or no, Gunther is always complaining about paying Hunter's bar tab.
I
It's always,
know.
it's always, it's always about the bar tab. I love it. It's great
I know.
entertainment because they
It's
know
so
how to
funny.
kind of lighten up and have fun, but they also know how to get the job done when it comes to, being those responsible influencers and putting out, things that keep us engaged with what's happening with our administration.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Couple of really good dudes. So Shell, what are your hopes and dreams? What would you Let's say I could hand you a magic wand and you could wave it over the entire world or your life. What do you dream about? What is it that you really would love to do more than anything in the world?
Well, I would probably first, if you handed me that one, I would take it, tap you on the forehead, and make sure you never could say the word drone again. That would be my first wish.
I have a. Do you
Granted.
want to see a
And
real
then
life drone? I have one sitting right
no,
behind me.
no, I'm good. I'm good. That whole saga with New Jersey and all that was wild, right? But it was just
That was
so
crazy.
saturated on the net that I really couldn't get past it for a while, even with my own show. And you know that, Ken, because you
I know.
too.
I know.
Everyone was talking about them, So yeah,
I
that's
know.
kind of why my eye twitched, on the drone. But you know,
It's like
um,
Epstein. Holy crap.
right?
Anyway, it's
So if I could wave a magic wand,
and have anything you want. Do
anything I
anything
want,
you want. What
it
would that
wouldn't
look
be in
like?
show business.
You what?
It wouldn't be in show business. It wouldn't be this.
What would it be?
I would do this still, but
Yeah.
I want to find my home in a person. That's my
Uh,
number one goal right now. I want to. I just want to be home somewhere, and have somebody who you know believes in me, and wants to build an empire together,
I
and
love
and
that.
and then and do this. That would be what I really, really want. Now, if Glenn Warshire would like me to do, or enticed me to do, or asked me, would you like to do some voiceovers
Yeah.
in Hollywood? I would like that too, very much. I really do.
You know
I
that
like.
there are voiceover agents, by the way. There are agencies that hire, they solicit voiceover work.
Yeah,
Um so,
I
I
would like
think
to make
that
my mark like that, though, Ken. I really would.
you what?
I would like to make my mark like that in something that's a series or film or a document, whatever it is,
Yeah.
that's out there and stays out there. I have a lot of things recorded, man, but that would be like top tier for me. That
Yeah.
to be something like a voiceover on a film.
Yeah.
I would enjoy that.
I you just never know.
You
And
never
what
know.
I'll tell you is, and you already know this, so I'm preaching to the choir. But when you get around the right people, and get to know them, and they get to know you, um, sometimes magical things happen. I just the other day I claimed my IMDb page, because I've actually been in a movie with Glenn, and I'm in the credits of the movie, which is the first requirement to claim an IMDb page. And so uh,
So
I
that
get a
chaps I asked, you did it before I did. So we'll have a discussion about that off camera. But go ahead.
you what?
I said, "That chaps my hide that you got to do it before me." I said, "But we'll have that discussion off camera
Well,
soon."
I never planned on it. I had, I told
I'm just
Glenn,
picking at you.
I know.
I'm very proud of you. I
Thank you.
really am. I
I'm
really am.
not, listen,
You're a force of nature, Ken.
I'm out here doing my thing, trying to
You're
help the
doing your
world.
thing.
And
You're just a force of nature, dude. Don't
thank you.
discount it. You told me
Thank you.
not to cheat myself, so don't cheat yourself.
I'm not. But I'm just, my point behind that is not to, um, it's, listen, I was sitting here working, my phone rings and it's Glenn. And he goes, "Hey, bud, what are you doing this weekend?" I go,
Oh, that's cool.
he goes, "Why don't you come over here to East Texas and be in this movie with me?" And I'm like, okay. Well, what am I going to do? He goes, "I don't know. Look at my girlfriend's butt in a scene." And
Oh,
okay. So, and then the following weekend, my whole family got to be in the movie in the very final scene of the movie. So,
really?
yeah, it was
Very,
pretty cool.
very cool.
Yeah, it was
That's
really cool.
very cool.
But, so my point behind that is, when you get around the right people and your intentions are pure, and they're not like, "Oh, I got to be friends with Glenn Morshower so I can
Yeah, like
get in a movie."
you're talking about like don't do the coattailing, right?
Yeah, because I have no desire to be an actor. I have no desire to be. I love what I do. Absolutely, this is my favorite thing in the world. And because I love hearing stories of triumph. And Shell, you know, things may not be absolutely everywhere that you want them to be at this moment, but I'm just going to say this to the whole world listening and watching, that you are a badass. And I think that things, humongous things, are fixing to happen for you, as we say here in Texas. I
Oh,
think some big ass things are fixing to happen for you.
I can't wait. I'm ready.
Good,
I'm ready.
good.
Thank you.
So we've been on
You'll
here
take
for
that
an
ride with
hour.
me though, right, Ken? You're gonna
Huh?
take that ride with me, right?
What?
You're gonna take that ride with me though, right?
You know I am.
There you go.
You know I am.
There you go.
So what's the I've been through a lot too. In 2010, that whole, oh my god, my wife and I lost a house. We've been through all kinds of ups and downs, and had the electric shut off. I mean, not, I mean, it's been a long time, but we've had some challenges in life, and there are people right now, because this economy, I don't care what, I love President Trump, I don't care what he says, the economy still sucks, and it's really, really bad. But he's unraveling a lot of bull crap over the last 7 decades, and there's going to be
Yes,
some pain. And I get that, but the economy is challenging for a lot of people right now. For
it
those
is.
people who are watching right now, and I am giving you full screen for this, by the way, for your answer, so be prepared for that.
Oh yeah.
But for the people watching who have done everything they know how to do, they're not making it, they're not able to survive, they're not where they want to be. They can't pay their electric bill. Their car got repoed or is getting repoed. Whatever the challenge is that they're facing right now, Shell, what would you say to them to give them hope, to hang on, to keep pushing forward? What would you say to them?
First of all, I hope you have a relationship with Christ, because in Christ you can do anything. All right. Second of all, I would hope that you never give up. It's never over. Okay. There's always tomorrow, and tomorrow might even be worse, but it's already teaching you those tools on the next day that could happen to make it so much better. And use every tool in your toolbox to get through whatever it is that you have that's challenging you. And you have a lot, especially when you're my age. You've collected a lot of tools, right? So, and if you need a bestie or something, lean on somebody. Don't be like, "Oh, I can't burden them." You're not a burden. Nothing's a burden. A lot of people have that mindset. You're not a burden. There's always someone who loves you so much that you don't even realize it, that will help you, even if they can't help you monetarily or physically or whatever. They'll walk right next to you through all of it. Never leave your side. Always get through it. Keep looking forward. That rear view mirror, take your eyes off of it. You're not going back there anymore. And just keep moving forward. I don't care what the challenge is. You can get through anything.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Is there anything else you would like to share with everyone before we wrap up?
Um, well, I mean, look at this chat over here, right? I
It's
mean, my
crazy.
gosh, these people are beautiful, right? Could you have any better of a life knowing that you're surrounded by these beautiful patriots who, you know, support you and lift you up and you know, give you that encouragement and all that online love. A lot of people, this isn't real life. And it isn't. Get some sun. Go touch grass. Don't stay online all the time. But when you see this and you're doing something like you and I are, Ken, and they're always here, that's so beautiful. I just want to tell them how beautiful I think they are. And thank you.
I'm gonna put your, hang on real fast. I'm putting this up on screen here so everybody can see
What is it?
where to follow you
Oh,
at Hot Tamale 0202
0.
on X.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's crazy to me is you don't have a you're not Gunther Eagleman level as far as followers is concerned, but I think you're probably one of the most revered and feared people on X. I mean, you're
My
not to
bad.
be messed with because you got people like this guy right here, Rob. You've got people like me. You've got people like Buck. You've got people like Steve Loves Ammo and Queen Anti-Commie and Sassafras and Kay Daly and all these and Gunther Eagleman and Cat Turd and Brandon
Mhm.
Strock and all these people that love you, adore you, and have your freaking back. So
Isn't that beautiful?
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It is absolutely amazing. And it's
I'm
because you're
humbled
not
by
a
it.
taker, you're a giver.
Yeah, that gets you into trouble too, though. It
It
does.
can. It can.
But when you learn how to manage it, it's a beautiful thing. It really is. And I suggest anybody out there who wants to, get out there and make your voice heard and become part of something. I'm just going to have to shout out you, Ken, and Grow Live Academy. I mean, my goodness, what a movement you've made, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
Um, and if you don't know how to get it started, you're shy, you don't want to be on camera like me because I can't stand the camera. I'm not gonna lie. Um, but if you really want to get there, Grow Live Academy. You got to follow Ken. You got to talk to him about this. Look into it. He's teaching us things beyond my imagination that I would ever learn from the group of people that are there. And I've only gone twice. Okay. Um, well, I think one was just a meeting, and the other one was Grow Live, actual class. And I'm taking the classes online,
Yeah.
and I'm doing the videos and stuff. Um, Tremendous accomplishment you've done, Ken. I
Thank
mean,
you.
kudos,
Thank you.
man. It's fantastic.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. But this isn't about me, but thank you. I mean that. Thank you.
But it's about
I,
me, and I'm going to say what I want to say. So there you go.
I thank you. I look, I have,
You're welcome.
yeah, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the Grow Live Academy family and the
So
inner
am I.
circle meetings that we have and they're
So am I.
just intense. They're incredible. So I'm grateful you're in it. So thank you. And I want to thank everybody who's been watching today and everyone who shared this out. You all rock. If you
Thank
haven't shared this out, there is time for you to redeem yourself
you.
and go ahead and click that share button. Quote post it out. Don't just share it, but do a quote post and tag Chelle and I. I know I'll go back and share every one that I see that was quote posted, and I'm sure Chelle will share a bunch of them too. But um,
Absolutely.
yeah, Chelle, you're an amazing lady. I'm so grateful to call you a friend. I know we joke. When I said we started off rough, we didn't. I just immediately started. I'm gonna see how far
You
she'll let me take
you
this.
poked the bear. You immediately just came in poking a bear, and yeah, and that was fun though. It was
It
fun,
was
but look at
fun.
us now. We have this a great relationship, somewhat a working relationship now,
Yeah.
and I look forward to seeing everything that we can accomplish together, Ken. It's going to be a great ride.
Amen, my sister. Amen. I love you,
Thank you
Chelle.
for having me.
I'm grateful that you came on today. You've got an amazing story. Everybody watching, make sure that you are following Chelle. Tammy, if we are live on X, that means it is recorded.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
it'll be available on every platform we're on. LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, X, we're everywhere right now. Multiple Facebook pages. So Yes, it's recorded.
Hello, Facebook. I need to get over there more often. I really do. I don't know why. I just I'll start utilizing that a little more. So hello to all the other platforms and all of my ex besties. And thanks
Yeah.
for having me, Ken.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you to everybody again. Have a wonderful day. Chelle, stay with me. I'm going to wrap this up. We will see you all later. Have a fantastic day. And please remember to share this out. We'll see you all later.